Every man wants it, but most never admit it. They want women to want them, to sleep with them, not out of pressure, not out of pity, but out of pure desire. But very few understand what makes her feel it before a single word is spoken. The truth? Most men chase attraction the wrong way. They talk too much. They try too hard. They forget the one thing that matters most: psychology. Because a woman doesn't decide to sleep with you based on what you say. She decides based on how you make her feel, in her body, in her breath, in her imagination. It's about energy, presence, dominance without force, confidence without need. This video shows you how to influence that decision, without begging, performing, or pretending. Just by shifting who you are and how you move. These are 6 mental shifts that unlock the sexual energy women don't talk about, but always feel. Once you apply them, you won't chase her desire anymore. You'll become the fantasy. Let's begin. It always starts in the mind, in the quiet certainty that you are already desired. And that's where the first shift begins. Walking into every interaction like the fantasy she never admits out loud. Before she ever feels your hand, she needs to feel your mind. And nothing rewires her desire faster than being near a man who walks like she already wants him. Not because he's arrogant, not because he's desperate to prove anything, but because his belief system is calibrated for seduction. He doesn't wait for signs. He doesn't ask, "What if she rejects me?" He assumes attraction, until proven otherwise. And that assumption changes everything. His voice drops. His body relaxes. His eye contact lingers just long enough to tease, never long enough to beg. His presence says, "I'm not here to convince you. I'm here because we both know how this ends." This isn't a tactic. It's mental warfare. Because women don't respond to hope. They respond to certainty. And when you carry yourself like she's already undressing you in her head, she starts to wonder what you look like above her. As one might say with Machiavellian clarity, never wait for external permission to activate internal dominance. Assume interest. Move like a man she's secretly chosen, and she'll start acting like it's true. Here's a tactical shift. Before you approach, before you speak, before you even make eye contact, set your internal tone. Not "will she want me," but "she already does, and I move like it." She's not drawn to effort. She's drawn to obsession. Which brings us to the second shift, becoming the man so consumed by his world that she's tempted to undress just to enter his world. Most men try to attract her by putting on a show, by being funny, charming, smart, loud, accommodating. But what she truly craves is the man who doesn't need her attention. She fantasizes about the man who's already lit up, by his mission, by his vision, by his schedule. The man whose day is full, whose mind is sharp, whose hands carry the weight of real responsibility. The man who wakes up before the world and doesn't have time to entertain it. She walks into his apartment and smells the discipline. She notices how precise everything is. Not perfect, but intentional. His shoes, his scent, his books, his silence. And she wonders, if his life feels this good fully clothed, what would it feel like to be naked inside it? See, desire doesn't live in performance. It lives in presence. In the man who knows exactly what he wants and moves without apology. Machiavelli would say, when you make yourself the main event, women compete for a front row seat. Not because you tried, but because you built a world worth stepping into. Now, clean your space, upgrade your mind, speak less, sleep more. Make your presence heavier than your words, because she doesn't want to be your goal. She wants to be a guest in the kingdom you're building. Seduction isn't loud. It's slow. It's intentional. It breathes. And that's where the third shift begins. Stretching time until she forgets where she is and starts feeling who you are. Speed kills seduction. It makes her feel rushed, watched, hunted, cornered. But when you slow down, when you sit back in your chair instead of leaning in, when you speak like time bends around your words, when your fingertips glide instead of grab, everything in her nervous system changes. Her voice softens. Her pupils dilate. Her breathing syncs with yours. Because when you slow down the moment, you stop being just a man and become a sensory experience. Your energy becomes flavor. Your voice becomes temperature. Your presence becomes a mirror for her secret impulses. And suddenly, she's not thinking, should I sleep with him? She's wondering how she hasn't already. Machiavelli would have told you, seduction isn't about speed, it's about space. When you slow down, you force her into a deeper state of awareness, and that's where her fantasies come alive. Here's your next move. Lower your volume. Pause between words. Look at her lips. Let your silence carry more tension than your sentences. Because if she feels the electricity without you even touching her, she's already halfway in your bed. Let's go deeper, into the final moves of this game. Moves so precise, so instinctive, so charged with masculine energy, that her body feels the truth before her mind ever does. She won't ask you to touch her, but her body will beg for it without words. That's why the fourth shift is so crucial. Learning to read her signals and lead with calm, respectful certainty. She won't say it with words, but her body speaks in secrets. She'll fix her hair when you enter, bite her lip when you get closer, mirror your posture, slow her speech, lock eyes a little too long. And if you're paying attention, you'll feel it. That tension, that's the green light. But here's where most men fail. They wait. They hesitate. They overthink. Because they've been taught to fear their own instincts. They've been conditioned to believe that desire must be scheduled, consent must be begged, and seduction must be explained like a contract. So they miss it. They miss the signal in the curve of her spine when she leans in. They miss the open gate when she pauses before stepping back. They miss the electric silence that screams, now. But a high-value man, a dominant man, doesn't wait for written permission to be magnetic. He doesn't push. He doesn't invade. He simply reads, and he leads. He knows that attraction is a dance. And in that dance, the leader doesn't ask every 5 seconds if he can take the next step. He moves when the music shifts, because he feels it. He watches her tone, her hesitation, her rhythm of speech, her body placement. He picks up on the tremble in her laugh, the delay in her goodbye, the change in her breathing. And when everything in her says yes, even if her words stay silent, he touches her lower back like he belongs there. He holds her face like it was always meant to be held. He kisses her not to get something, but to give her the experience she already imagined. A truth Machiavelli would encode in shadow. He who waits for words will always be ruled by silence. Because words lie. Body language doesn't. Here's your next solution. Stop asking for doors to open. Learn to recognize when they already are. Develop the social intelligence to notice microsignals and the calm strength to act without fear. Lead like a man who trusts his read. You're not there to convince. You're there to confirm what's already in the air. Make your move when it's felt, not just spoken, and you'll become the man whose touch feels inevitable. And when you move like that, with confidence, with calm, with care, she melts. Because she didn't have to tell you. You just knew. Women don't crave safety. They crave uncertainty laced with tension. Which brings us to the fifth shift. Becoming the man she can't figure out, but can't stop wanting. There's a moment after the first kiss, after the first night together, when she expects to have figured you out. She's seen this movie before. She's had the guy who floods her with attention the next day. She knows the texts, the compliments, the routines. But with you, there's a pause, a silence, a blank space she doesn't understand. You're not cold. You're not distant. You're simply sovereign. You go back to your mission, your rhythm, your world. And suddenly, she's the one wondering. Where did he go? Is he thinking about me? Will I see him again? And in that moment, she's not in control anymore. She's in curiosity. And curiosity leads to craving. Because what drives sexual obsession isn't security. It's uncertainty. It's tension. It's depth. You become the man who doesn't explain every move, who doesn't collapse into her the moment she gives him a glimpse of warmth. Instead, you stay composed, silent when others would speak, calm when others would confess, focused when others would chase. As one might say with Machiavellian clarity, power is retained by those who speak less than they know and act more than they show. Here's a strategic shift. After intimacy, don't rush to fill the silence. Let her miss you. Let her wonder. Let the memory of your presence echo. Be consistent, but not predictable. Be reliable, but not always reachable. This isn't manipulation. It's masculine discipline. You're not playing hard to get. You're simply hard to replace. And the moment she feels that truth in your absence, her mind won't stop returning to you. You won't just be the man she remembers. You'll be the man she dreams of. Because she never fully figured you out. She feels it when you're trying to win, and it kills the magic. That's why the sixth shift is everything. Flirting like you already have her, while making her want to prove it's true. You can't fake detachment. You either live from your core, or you orbit hers. The second she feels that your value depends on her reaction, the spell breaks. When you stare at her waiting for validation, she sees it. When you laugh nervously at your own jokes to fill the silence, she feels it. When you text her after every interaction, just to make sure, she knows it. And all that does? It tells her, he wants me more than he wants himself. And no woman fantasizes about the man who needs her more than he needs his own direction. But when you flirt without calculation, when your touch says, I'm here for the moment, not the contract, when you smile then walk away without needing to win her, she feels something rare. She feels free. Free to desire. Free to act. Free to come toward you without pressure. Because now she's not being seduced by a salesman. She's being pulled into a vibe, a feeling, a masculine atmosphere she doesn't want to end. A lesson Machiavelli would whisper. He who controls the tone controls the outcome, even if he doesn't care for it. Here's how you execute it. Detach from results. Stay rooted in rhythm. Don't flirt to get a number. Flirt to create gravity. Don't move for attention. Move with intention. Your power is not in the kiss, the yes, or the outcome. It's in your ability to walk away satisfied, because you stayed true to your frequency. That's what makes her chase it again and again. Because she doesn't just want your attention. She wants to feel your presence again, with no guarantee that it'll stay. You've just unlocked 6 ways to enter a woman's body without even touching her. Because when you start thinking like this, women stop seeing you as just another guy. They start watching you, wanting you, obsessing over you, without even knowing why. Your energy slows them down. Your silence makes them nervous. Your presence makes their body react before their mind catches up. This isn't about flirting. It's about controlling the air in the room. It's about walking into her life and making her feel like she's already undressing, just from how you look at her. Not because you begged, not because you chased, because your entire vibe said one thing: you're lucky I'm even here. Now she can't stop thinking. What would it feel like to kiss him? What would his hands do if I gave him control? What if I gave in, just once? You've become her fantasy, not because you played a part, but because you finally stopped playing one. You stopped performing. You started leading. And now, she doesn't just want you, she wants to surrender to you. That's the new game you're playing. Not just to get her attention, but to make her crave your presence, long after you've left the room. You're not her option anymore. You're her standard. From now on, she doesn't forget you. She doesn't replace you. She compares every man after you to you, and none of them measure up. Now walk like the man who knows that. Lead like the man she'll dream about tonight. And speak like the man whose voice still lives in her mind tomorrow morning. Because if you think like this, she will sleep with you. But more than that, she'll remember you in silence, long after the night is over. Let the game begin. If this opened your eyes and you're serious about becoming the man who's in full control of his life, my book is now available. The Undeniable Man, Built to be Chosen. It's a strategic guide for men who want to attract, lead, and dominate in their love life and beyond. Whether you're single or in a relationship, no fluff, no tricks, just pure, powerful strategy that will set you apart from 99% of men, and that you will actually use every day. The link is in the description. And if this video spoke to you, don't just keep your thoughts in your head. Write a comment, even just a few words. It helps you remember these lessons, and it might help someone else too. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this content, and share it with someone who, in your eyes, needs it right now. Just trust your instinct. We're all trying to get clearer, more solid inside. So let's build minds that don't break.